Final day of training. My name is Sean, and today we're going to be going over the basics of the Explorer, and we're going to go over how to access the Explorer dialog and its options, how to do ranking with the Explorer, and how to do screening and filtering with the Explorer. I'll be then walking you through the basics of the Expert Advisor, which is one of the last power tools of Metastock we'll be covering today. Before we begin, I do need to read this disclaimer. Oops, let me go ahead and go back. Today's training is designed to instruct in some of the basics of Metastock. I will be providing some of the guidelines for using certain features within our software. However, nothing presented in this training is intended as, or should be construed to be, a recommendation to buy or sell any specific securities. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risks inherent in trading. Equus shall hold no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of our software or any trading strategies or information provided in connection with our company. That said, let's go ahead and review the objectives one last time. I'll be going over the Explorer, going over the basic options, ranking, screening and filtering, and then I'll be going over the Expert Advisor, which is the last power tool we'll be covering in our class today. So before we begin, it's important to understand what is an Explorer. The Explorer is a powerful multi-purpose analysis tool that can perform in-depth explorations, or scans, on multiple securities across multiple folders. The Explorer can perform a number of unique tasks, including comparing, filtering, listing multiple indicator values for multiple securities, ranking, searching, showing securities that have current buy or sell signals, sorting, etc. Let's go ahead and bring up my next slide. These are some of the things that you can do with the Explorer. You can discover which securities have generated buy or sell signals. You can find the securities that have just crossed over their 200-day moving average or increased on volume. You can identify which securities ranked highest with your relative strength index. You can discover which securities are above their 10-week moving average with a stochastic of 80 or higher, and are at a level of 4 on a customized binary wave. You can tell it to generate a performance report for all of your mutual funds. You can generate a list of every security along with the values for your favorite 6 indicators on each of those securities. So as you can see, there's a lot of different things you can do with the Explorer tool. Let's go ahead and open up Metastock now, and let's go ahead and go through some of these options. You open up the Explorer by going either to Tools, the Explorer, or clicking on the binoculars on your screen. Once it's open, you'll get a dialog that looks like what I have up on my screen now. On the left, you have a list of all of the explorations that are available to you. They are listed alphanumerically. On the right, you have a bunch of buttons, and let's go ahead and go through those buttons now. The Close button is going to close your Explorer tool. The New button, use this button to display the Exploration Editor dialog, which you can use to create custom explorations for yourself. Edit, this will allow you to edit an existing exploration that already exists. You can see the formulas and check out the different options for the name and the other tools that we'll be going over in just a moment. Copy. You can use this to make a copy of a selected exploration. This allows you to then go into the copy and make some edited changes without changing the original. Delete allows you to delete an exploration. Print, obviously, will print the selected exploration. Organizer. This button is going to display the Formula Organizer button again. This is the same as the wizard that we've talked about in the past from the Indicator Builder and the System Tester. This lets you export and import your custom formulas from all 4 power tools of Metastock: the Indicator Builder, the Expert Advisor, the Explorer, and the System Tester. Help. This is going to give you some additional help options for each of the different screens found around the Explorer tool. Now the next buttons here at the bottom are Explore, Explorer is going to start the exploration. So if I selected one of these explorations and click Explore, it will then start that exploration for me. Reports. If you've run an exploration and you'd like to view the results, you choose one of these reports, and you'll notice that some of these names have R's by them on the right, and that means they've been run in the past and they have a... Alright, let's go ahead and enter into the Options button and go over the Explorer options. The Explorer options button that we just have clicked on is actually going to let us affect some of the displays and controls for loading records into our explorations. It's going to be something that affects all explorations, so anything that you choose here will affect all of your explorations, not just the one you have selected. The first option here is the amount of records you have loaded. You want to enter the number of periods to use when you calculate your exploration results. So entering a value equal to a number of periods loaded provides an increased precision between cumulative type indicators calculated on your chart and those calculated in your explorations. Now you should also choose this if your exploration uses any candlestick functions or the bar sense function. That's when you'll use an exact number of loaded records. Now some indicators, as I just mentioned, are referred to as cumulative type indicators. These results of the cumulative type indicators depend on an amount of data that you have loaded. So for example, the result of a 10-day exponential moving average calculated with 40 days of data will be slightly different than one calculated with 500 days of data. This is because the exponential moving average actually retains a small portion of all of its previous data. So the more data you have, the more it will change. So that's when you want to choose load. Now, load minimum records, you'll want to use this option to calculate the explorations that you want to have just increased speed on. Certain cumulative explorations aren't going to work exactly when you choose this option though. So only choose this if it's not a cumulative type indicator. The next is notify when exploration is done. That just lets you know that your exploration dialog has completed running your exploration when it finishes. So that's a good option to have selected. Let's go ahead now and step into an edit screen and take a look at one of these. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look actually at the MACD expert system. It's a good one. We'll click edit. From here you can see at the top there is the name and the notes section. The notes section is going to give you a small amount of information about what this exploration is going to do for you. So this is a good place to take a look at your different explorations that came with Metastock and view what those explorations are doing. So this one says it shows a MACD buy and sell signal with a 1 in either column A or B. And additionally it finds stocks that reflect the MACD being in an overbought or oversold condition, which is reflected in columns C and D. So it's got the buy and sells in A and B, and it's got the overbought and oversold in C and D. Now, in this screen you have all of your columns, and if you have the newer version 10 of Metastock, you'll actually have even more columns available than this. All of your columns, you can set formulas that do different types of scans, and you can also set up a filter which will take out certain securities that don't meet certain criteria. Now, down below you have the OK, which just closes it. Cancel also closes it but doesn't accept the changes. Functions lets you search through the formula functions to help you set up your columns. Securities lets you actually set up specific securities you want to run this on. And then the options button. We're going to go ahead and step into this for just a moment. This options button is specific to just the information found for this expert advisor. So just for the MACD expert system. First is the exploration dates. You can actually have it run your exploration on the very most recent date. You can have it run on a specific date in the past. You can also set the periodicity. So if you want to have this MACD run on daily charts or weekly charts. Now, an intraday option is also available for those of you who run your securities on intraday data. And lastly, you can choose whether or not to use your filter in your exploration. So let's go ahead and click OK. And remember, the settings that you choose here are only going to apply to just this one Explorer. So the first thing I want to show you how to do with the Explorer is how to rank securities with the Explorer. So let's go ahead and bring up the Equus Performance Daily, which is one of our options for how to do some ranking. This exploration shows the short-term performance of each security. So if we enter in and check out the report, actually before we check out the report, let's go ahead and actually go into edit. We can see that it's giving us a 1, 5, 10, 30, and 60-day performance, and it's sorted on a daily security. So we have column A is just the close, column B is going to be sorted by the 1-day, C by the 5-day, D by the 10, E by the 30, and F by the 60. This exploration does not require a filter, so we leave that blank. And the reason why is because we want to see every single security that we're ranking. So the exploration report will be written to include columns that include the close, the 1, 5, 10, 30, and 60-day percentage rate of change. Now you might want to, once you get to the actual screen, let's go ahead and go back into the report now, choose to sort any of these particular columns. So here's our columns. If, for instance, I wanted to see which one of these has the best 5-day, I can sort by 5-day by simply double-clicking at the top of the column. So there's the best. There's the worst. If you click on 10-day, it'll then sort by the 10-day. The first is it gives you the worst, and then I click on it again, and now it gives me the best. I can sort by the close. I can sort by the 60, etc., etc. And we'll be coming back in here and taking a look at what options are available in here. But I just wanted to show you those columns. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that. The next one I want to show you how to do is a performance monthly. Now if you come into this one, it shows you that it's going to be doing a scan that's a 1, 3, 6, 12, and 24-month performance, sorted on a 1-month performance. And so you might be wondering how this differs from the one before. Now what the difference is someone has set up in the options that you're looking at the periodicity of monthly instead of daily. So when you look at the formulas, they're very, very similar to the ones you had before. And once again, this doesn't require a filter because you're wanting to rank all of your different securities that you're wanting to perform this on. So let's go ahead and say OK, and we'll take a look at the report for this one. So this one gives us our 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 12 month, 24 month, and once again we can sort by each of these values. Even the name of the securities if you like. Okay, so that's how you do some of the different Equus performance scales, and that's similar to how you would do any of the different performance rankings. The next thing I want to show you how to do is actually how to screen or filter with the Explorer tool. So we're going to go ahead and bring up the Equus Long-Term Bullish. Now we'll do the Bearish first. We'll click Edit. This shows us only securities that are in a long-term bearish trend. In example, their closing price is below a 200-day moving average. So that's what this is going to look for. So the first column is going to show us the close of that security. Second column is going to be the moving average, an exponential one. Next column is going to give us some more calculated percentage below that we are. And the most important of this, because this one is a filtering exploration, the filter is filled in. So when column A, our close, is less than column B, our 200-day moving average, we know it is then in a long-term bearish trend. And if we look down in options, we notice that it's still set to daily in the most recent date. Now for this type of calculation, because we are using an exponential moving average, we do want to make sure that our options are set to a specific amount of periods so that it's valuable. We'll say 1,000 is fine. We'll go ahead and take a look at the report. So now, what this has done is it's scanned my entire list of S&P 500 securities, and it's given me all of those that passed the results. So these are the securities that are in a bearish trend. Now, obviously not all securities are going to be in a bearish trend, so there should be some rejects. These are the ones that were filtered out. These did not have a bearish trend. And you can take a look once again over here on the exploration field, which of these different explorations we're using, and kind of the calculations being used at this time. Alright. We can once again also sort here. We can see which one had the highest percentage below, which one had the highest 200-day moving average, and the highest close. Alright, let's go ahead and close this. And let's take a look at the same thing, but this time let's go ahead and take a look at the bullish trend. First of all, click on Edit. It's pretty much the same, except for the filter has just switched. So you'll notice that the only difference between the long-term bearish and the long-term bullish is the greater than and less than used here in the filter. In this one, we want to know which securities have column A greater than column B. Alright, let's go ahead and close this. And we'll go ahead and take a look at the report. Here's our results. These are the securities that are in a long-term bullish trend. And once again, the most important feature of this was the filter, because that's the purpose. And these are the securities that got filtered out. Alright, so let's go ahead and go through a few of the basics here of this results page. You can click on the Inspect button to inspect the specific results of a security over time. You can click on the Open Charts button to use this particular security to open a chart. And it will open it up in the background here. The Sort button allows you to actually choose a column and to sort. You can tell it which columns you want to have most valued. So maybe the 200-day moving average first, then by the close, then by the name. And it will then sort through your securities. And the Print option allows you to print this list. And the Save list allows you to save the list. You also have some options available to you by right-clicking. You can right-click and copy this and then paste this list into an Excel spreadsheet. Save to File allows you to save the list. Edit Data. This brings up the actual data sheet from the downloader that will allow you to actually edit the data that you've run your test on. Delete Security will delete that security. Copy Security copies it. And Add to Favorites allows you to add that security to your list of favorites for Metastock. Alright, let's go ahead and close this. Let's go ahead now and walk through running an exploration. We'll go ahead and use the MACD buy signal exploration. Here it is. To run an exploration, you simply highlight the exploration that you want to run and click the Explore button at the bottom. After clicking on the Explore button, you'll get the Add Security dialog. And this is very similar to the Open dialog and the other Add Security dialogs we've seen. Let's go ahead and remove all for now. The options here are to add securities. If we enter into Add Securities, we come into our Add Security dialog here, where we can actually choose which securities we want to scan. Let's go ahead and do our scan on the NASDAQ 100. Here it is. We'll go ahead and select one security, hit Control-A to highlight them all, and click Open. And here they all have come through. Now, the Remove button allows you to remove one security at a time. Remove All removes everything in the folder. And Save lets you save the list of securities that you've chosen so that in the future you can simply grab it again. Alright. The last option here is Use Results from Last Security, or Last Exploration. This is going to use the results that you had from the last exploration to start for the next one. That's just an option you can choose if you'd like to use the same results. Let's go ahead and, however, just use these ones that we've just chosen and click OK. Once you've selected all the securities and you click OK, you get this exploration status dialog that comes up on your screen. You can see a few different things there. It went a little bit too fast, so I'm going to switch over to my PowerPoint screen for just a moment and go over some of those options now. This is the exploration status dialog that we just had on our screen. At the top, you're going to have the name of the exploration you're running. Below that is the folder, then the security that you're running it on at the moment. Below that, there's a lot of different things in this that are pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to just explain a few of the things down below just so to save us some time. The estimated completion time is on this list. This is based on the average time that the Explorer needs to complete each security. The estimated completion time is adjusted after each security as a new average is calculated. The execution priority. This is the drop list that allows you to control the amount of processor time devoted to the computation of the exploration. If you would like to just leave that at medium, that's fine, that's the default. But you can run it on low if your program in the background is starting to run a little bit jerky or unresponsive. Maybe it's taking up a little bit too much of your processor speed. And you can also run it on high if it's the only thing you're doing and you want it to just complete a little faster. The minimize button can be used to actually minimize the Explorer dialog so that you can run other aspects of the program. Even performing a system test can be done while running an exploration. Cancel will actually cancel the exploration process. A window will appear to ask you to confirm the cancellation, and then it will then give you a report for those securities that have completed their testing. The reports results view, once this is finished, will then come up. Let's go ahead and switch back to Metastock, and we can see that screen now. So if you click OK, this will simply close this, and then the only way to view your reports is to go back into the Explorer and actually click on the security and click on Reports. The Reports button itself will bring up the results for the reports. Let's go ahead and click on that. So here's our report results. And we've seen similar things to this in the other screens when we did our other explorations that I just were talking about. So the first thing here under the results is the security name. That's the first column that's going to be listed. And then based on our formulas for our different columns that we had set up for our Explorer, we have a close. This one gives us a MACD. This one gives us a previous and a moving average, another previous, percentage above, a ticker symbol. And now it also is going to give us rejects. These are the ones that got filtered out. So if we click over here on our Explorer, we can see that we have different values for all of these different columns. And we had, in the end, 2 results. So if we come back to the Explorer dialog, to get back into that, you simply click on the MACD buy signal and you can click on Reports, and it will show you your most recent report. We had 2 securities that passed our test. And we've already gone through most of the options available to you here. So that's pretty much how you run an exploration. Now, one useful thing is that you can copy these things into Excel. Let's go ahead and I'm going to show that real quickly now. Some people find it very useful to have access to that. So let's go ahead and bring that up. Alright, here's our Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to right click and go copy. And I'm going to go into Excel, right click, and go paste. And there's our values in Excel. So you can save your different exploration results here so that you can have access to them later. Alright, the next tool I want to go over with you is the final of the power tools found in Metastock. It's called the Expert Advisor. Let's go ahead and switch back to Metastock by closing Excel and closing the Explorer. Now, the Expert Advisor is a collection of powerful tools that keep you informed of current technical states of a chart. So when you attach an expert to a chart, it can inform you the state of these conditions on various different methods. When you use a Equus MACD, for instance, let's go ahead and attach this chart, a Equus MACD. So we're going to go into the Expert Advisor, the little man with the hat, and we're going to attach an Equus MACD. And I'll go ahead and go through this a little bit more detail. This is going to give us colored bars, specific bars that actually are called highlights for certain criteria. It's going to give us a symbol in the bottom corner of the chart, the little frowny face, because right now it's in a cell. It's going to give us a special inner window called a ribbon, telling us when it's bullish or bearish. It's going to give us symbols on the chart for buy and sell signals. It can also be various other things. It's going to give us also pop-up messages that give us little sounds or videos that give us alerts when these messages happen, so just in case we're not paying attention to the screen. We can even set up emails or pager messages, so it will send us an email or send us a page on our cell phone. You can even send emails to your phone and get text messages. And also you get descriptive text called commentaries. You can get that by right-clicking, going to the Expert Advisor, and clicking on Commentary. You'll get a little dialog that comes up and tells you commentary about the particular screen that you're looking at. Most people will simply use Expert Advisors that are actually pre-packaged with Metastock, or you can even purchase them from Metastock or third parties. There are add-ins and plugins that you can get to add to your Expert Advisor library. Now, for example, if you want to use Bill Williams' expert commentary on any chart you display, you would simply right-click on the chart, choose Expert Advisor, and then attach the Bill Williams pre-packaged expert. Let's go ahead and undock this and close the commentary. To open the Expert Advisor, once again, you simply go to Tools and go to the Expert Advisor, or you click on the little man with the hat. The Expert Advisor has pretty much the similar look to the other power tools. In the middle, you have an alphanumerical listing of all of the experts. You also have a little arrow showing you which expert is currently attached to the chart that you're currently viewing. And you have options on the right. Now, this Expert Advisor dialog can hold up to 1,000 experts. So a small triangle shows you which one's attached, but there's no listing of exactly how many you have. Most of the Metastock versions out there come with anywhere between 20 to 60. However, there are some plugins that have hundreds and hundreds of experts. Now, obviously, New is going to create a new expert. Edit will let you edit a currently selected expert. Copy copies an expert so you can make changes without damaging the original. Delete deletes an expert. Print will print the formulas for an expert. Organizer lets you import and export, just like all of the other organizer buttons. Help lets you actually bring up some help dialogues that tell you exactly what you're looking at on the screen. Now, over to the left, we have a couple different buttons here in the expert. We have the Attach Detach button. So if we select one of these others experts, we'll have Attach because they're not currently attached. If we choose the one that is attached, it gives us Detach. You can have only one expert on a chart at any given time, so the Attach and Detach will change based on which you attach. Now, perhaps the most important thing to remember, the last thing I didn't point out is you can also bring up the commentary dialog here by clicking on Commentary, and it will bring back up that dialog that shows us details about the Expert Advisor we have attached. Now, as I was saying, perhaps the most important thing to remember when creating an expert is that it can be as simple or as complex as you'd like it to be. So, for example, you can create a very simple expert that simply sounds an alert whenever you have a close that crosses above a moving average. I mean, that's a really basic expert. So to create a new expert, all we have to do is click on the New button. And the expert editor appears. Now, this has got a bunch of different columns, as you can see, or categories, tabs at the top. first of which is name. You also have trends, commentary, highlights, symbols, and alerts. Now, the name is the only one that is required. You just need the name and one other one in order to have your expert work. So it's very likely that most of you will create expert advisors that will only use a couple of components, but remember, you need to give it a name and then use one of these other components to finish off your expert. So here in the name category, you just give it a name, a unique name of any sort. As long as it's unique, it will let you do that. You can also give notes explaining basically what it is that your expert advisor does. For the existing experts, you can get some information here if you're a little confused about what they do. Next category is trends. Under trends, you can enter the bearish and bullish rules. So you can have this rule for the following features, and you can basically set up that whenever it's above a certain moving average, it's bullish, and whenever, it can be anything that you want. These are basically going to set true or false values for you and then show them on your Metastock chart as a ribbon on the bottom, similar to what you see behind us on the MACD. If you need some assistance, you can also come in here and click on functions, and it will help you use the formula language to set up your different criteria. And if you also at any point in any of the power tools need assistance with your formulas, can contact our formula team once again at formulas@equus.com. The next field here is commentary. You enter here the commentary that you want to have displayed for your commentary dialog. Commentaries are used to tell you in a written format the technical state of your security. There are 2 special functions and 5 constants available specifically for writing just commentaries. The built-in editor also has a basic word processor like toolbar that allows you to control fonts and set formattings, etc., etc. The results of the commentary are displayed in the expert commentary dialog only. The next of these tabs is highlights. The highlights page is used to create and edit highlights. A highlight colors the chart's bar prices to indicate specific conditions. So an unlimited number of highlights can be defined for your expert. You can have 50 or 5 or 0. You just say new, you choose what the name of your highlight will be, and you give it the criteria and the color you want it to change the bars. The next of these tabs is symbols. The symbols page is used to create and edit which symbols you want to display on your chart. So depending on the conditions for the specific symbols, you can have them placed above or below the price bars. And finally, you have alerts. The alerts page is used to create and edit the alerts you have displayed on your chart. When the defined conditions that you've set up for your alerts are met, a specific message is going to pop up on your screen. You can also have it play an audible sound or play a video. You can have it send an email or a pager notification or a text message. An unlimited number of alerts can be defined for an expert. Each of these features is covered in more details in the manual for your program. If you didn't get a hardback manual, you can find them under Help under the Manual section. Now, the Expert Advisor works with Metastock's end of day and with professional real-time charts. A chart can have only, as I said, one expert attached to it at any given time. However, you can create multiple charts of the same security and attach different experts on each one of those and even have them all displaying at the same time on your screen. So let's go ahead and, at this point, show you how to attach and detach an expert. There's a few different ways that you can attach an expert. Let's go ahead and start by detaching the one we have currently. We're going to select this from the list and choose Detach. Now, the obvious way that I've already shown you on how to attach an expert is to come into the Expert Advisor, choose the expert you want, and choose Attach. You won't see anything happening on the chart until you hit Close. At the moment, I've detached it, and sure enough, it's disappeared. Another way that you can attach an expert is you can go to the lower right-hand corner of the chart, this empty field, it's called the Expert Advisor field, right-click, and go to Attach. You simply then choose your Expert Advisor from the list and choose OK, and it will attach your expert. It also gives you an indicator of whether or not it's bullish or bearish down here based on the criteria you've set up in your different editor formulas. Right now we have a frowny face because it is bearish. Now let's go ahead and detach that. Another way you can do that is to actually right-click on the chart itself, go to the Expert Advisor, and then go to Attach. It's the same list. You scroll down, choose the expert you want, and choose Attach. So those are the three main ways that you can do that. Once again, from the Expert Advisor, from the lower right-hand corner, or from the chart itself. Now, with all of these symbols showing, it can get a little bit confusing what it is you're looking at. So if you're ever wanting to know what it is you're looking at, and if you're using one of the pre-built indicators or Expert Advisors, you'll go into the Expert Advisor and click Edit. Now, in this particular instance, we get this Expert Editor for the MACD. It gives us a little bit of information here in the notes of what it is that we're looking at. And then we can click on these different fields to see that this is the criteria they set up for the bullish and bearish. They have it in the corner. They've set up sad faces when it's bearish, happy faces when it's bullish, and green and red. And then if it's neutral, they have it black and a plain face. They have a ribbon set up with these criteria with green and red arrows and these patterns. And they have a commentary set up for the Expert Advisor. They have highlights for overbought and oversold, green and red. They have symbols, looks like a MACD buy and a MACD sell symbol. And they have alerts. So whenever you get one of these buys or sells, you'll get an alert pop up that will pop up on your screen. So this is the basics of the Expert Advisor and how to use that. Let's go ahead and switch back now to the slideshow for just a moment. And once again, here are the different things that can be done and conditions set by the Expert Advisor that we've gone over. You can have colored bars, a symbol in the bottom corner of the chart, a special inner window called a ribbon, symbols on the chart, pop-up messages or alerts, emails messages with alerts, and descriptive text in your commentaries. So, for more detailed information on the Explorer and the Expert Advisor, refer to your manuals or help files, and you can find a lot of information there. If you have any questions, however, about specific features, feel free to contact us at support by either email or by phone. Phone number is 801-265-9998, or you can reach us by email at support@equus.com. If you need help developing explorers or explorations, contact our formula team. Remember, formulas are done only by email, and you email us at formulas, that's plural, @equus.com. So formulas@equus.com. Give details in English about what it is you're trying to create, and we will let you know what it will take to create that and how to do so. For the most part, that's a very free service, and they are happy to help you. So in summary, today we went over the Explorer, the basic dialogues and options in the Explorer, ranking with the Explorer, and how to do screening and filtering with the Explorer. We then talked about the Expert Advisor, and we went over the basics and options available to you in the Expert Advisor. I thank you all for attending our 4 training classes with Metastock.